Hello and welcome. My name is Boyd Karen. I'm with Engagex. At Engagex, our goal is to help your agency grow and become more successful. And I'm delighted to have Bill Whitley with us here today. Bill has conducted research on the top performing agencies, and he's the author of a book called 8 Secrets of the Top Performing Agents. And his company has helped hundreds of agents create more successful agencies. Bill, thanks for joining us today.
Boyd, you are welcome. It's just a pleasure to be here. And I want you to know that when I conducted my research, I uncovered 8 key strategies for growing a more successful agency. And I'm really looking forward to sharing several of those ideas with you today. You know, one of the underlying themes that I noticed is that these top agencies have made an important transition. They've gone from quoting insurance to advising clients. And when you make that transition, 3 things happen in your agency. First, your clients will thank you more often. Second, you and your staff will be more valued. And third, your agency will close more sales. Now, this webinar training program is less than 15 minutes long, and I want to encourage you to stay with us through the entire program for 2 reasons. First, you'll get some great ideas on how to make the quoter to advisor transition. And second, at the end of the webinar, I'll share with you how every participant today can get a free Agency Growth Accelerator Package. Now, over the last few years, I've had the opportunity to present these concepts at insurance conferences all across North America. And what excites me the most are the comments I hear from attendees. For instance, Jeremy Kilpatrick said, "This seminar is simply the best I've been to in a 10-year insurance career." And Jason Smith said, "I'm having huge success with the Your World conversation and just closed an $840,000 mutual fund deal." But my favorite conversation was with Gene Mondragon. He called me a few months ago and he said, "You know, Bill, I've been an insurance agent for 19 years and I've traveled for 19 years." So in other words, he was in the top 15% of all the agents in his organization. He said, "When I left your seminar, I knew the Your World diagram would change my agency, and I was so excited I told my wife about it. And I bought your training package and studied it and mastered it and taught it to my team. And I now require each producer to conduct 3 Your World conversations per week, and the results have been amazing." He said, "Over the last 18 months, we've gone from 80 to 90 apps per month to 160 to 200. And he said, "I just qualified for President's Club." So in 18 months, Gene went from top 15% to top 1% and doubled production. Congratulations, Gene. Way to go. By the way, Gene Mondragon uses Engagex to set all of his appointments. He does about 600 Your World conversations per year, he and his team, and Engagex sets every single one. So if you'd like them to set your appointments for you, just call Boyd. He'll get you all set up and they'll set your appointments. So when I did my research, the other interesting thing I noticed was that these top agencies are so well practiced. They practice the questions, the comments, the conversations, and my goal today is to share some of these conversations with you, and my hope is that you'll like them so well that you'll want to practice them and make them part of your everyday agency operation. And now let me share my favorite secret with you. This is the one that made such a difference for Jason Smith and Gene Mondragon. My favorite secret is secret number 5. The top performing agents make everyday risks simple and visual and easy to understand. And the question I'd like you to think about as we discuss this secret is, are you fully harnessing the power of simplicity within your agency? You see, my experience is when you make something simple and visual and easy to understand, your client will thank you. And in many cases, they'll only buy insurance from you. So let's suppose I was your client and you had insured my home and both my cars for 10 years, but you want a deeper relationship with me. You could call and say, "You know, Bill, I'd like to create this diagram for you. I call it Your World. It'll give you a good picture of your financial situation and any risks that you might face. Now, when I come in, you're going to pull out a blank piece of paper and you're going to say, 'Bill, here's you. You're the center of your world. Everybody loves you because you create income. And your income goes in one of 2 directions. It either goes to support your family or purchase assets. So tell me about your family.' And I'd say, 'Well, there's me and my wife, Leanne. We've been married 27 years. We have 3 children, Will, Maggie, John. Will's 21, Maggie's 19, John's 16. Both of my parents are still alive. My dad just turned 83, and my wife's parents are still alive, and they're in their late 70s. Then you could say, 'Tell me about your assets.' And I'd say, 'Well, I own 2 cars, and I own a home, and I've got this IRA. And then you might want to summarize for me and say, 'You know, Bill, here's what I heard you say.' And just summarize a little bit about my income, my family, my assets. And when you're ready, you could say, Bill, as the person who helps you manage everyday risk, I think about 7 things, the 7 biggest risks we all face. And the first thing I think about is your health. You know as well as I know, if you had a major medical procedure, it could cost a lot of money. And I don't want anything to erode that 401k plan. So tell me about your health care coverage. The next thing you could say is, Bill, if you couldn't produce that income for 6 months or a year, is your world okay? If not, we should be talking about disability. And the next thing I think about is if something happens to you permanently, is your world okay? If not, we should be talking about life insurance. And the next thing I think about are your parents. You mentioned there's 4 of them still alive. If one of them needs long-term care and if they can't afford it, they're coming to you. So I'd like to talk to you about long-term care for your parents as well as you and Leanne. And I'm just delighted we've insured your home and both your cars for 10 years. And last question, let's suppose that you or Leanne or Will or Maggie causes a accident and there's a lawsuit. You're sued for $1 million. Is your world okay? If not, we should be talking about a personal umbrella policy. And then I coach the agents, just draw a wall of protection around my world but above the risks. And you can say, my job as the person who helps you manage everyday risk is to build a wall of protection. And if one of those accidents happen, they'll just bounce right off. And so my only question for you is, which of those risks concern you the most? And where would you like me to start? Now, the agents that master this diagram tell me the client at this point will now prioritize their number 1, number 2, number 3 greatest risks. By the way, if you conduct this conversation well, the very first thing your client will say is thank you. Nobody ever made insurance that easy to understand. And the next thing they'll say is, can I have a copy of the diagram? And I'd say, absolutely. And I'd make a copy, but I'd keep a copy. By the way, the most likely purchase is an umbrella policy followed by a life insurance policy. So if you'd like to develop a deeper multi-line relationship and sell all the financial services, I highly encourage you to master the Your World conversation. There's 3 key steps if you want to master it. First is to learn how to position yourself as an advisor. And in my training program, I'll share the 4 key questions and the 5 positioning comments the top advisors make. I'll also share how to educate clients about everyday risk and really open their eyes. And I'll share what I call a client attraction story. I'll teach you how to develop your own, and I'll share my 10 favorite client attraction stories. Next, I'll show you how the top agents get more people to come in for these meetings. I'll share the very best ways and the word tracks to use to get more people to come in, and then you can conduct the Your World conversation. So I want to remind you that ideas alone are not valuable. It's when you implement the idea that it becomes truly valuable. So if you want to make the transition from quoter to advisor and be thanked more often and be more respected and close more sales, I've got the perfect training package for you. I call it the Agency Growth Accelerator Package. It'll help you go from mediocre sales to high-performance sales in 90 days. It includes a DVD with 8 videos, an audio CD set for your car, and a hardcover of my book. And that has all the word tracks and my 10 favorite client attraction stories. I've just created the 8 Secrets Mastermind Group. It's $49 a month. There's no contract. And the way it works is I'm now conducting interviews with the top agents. I record the interviews. I put them on audio CD. We have the interviews transcribed, and we create what we're referring to as the Agency Growth Ideas Report. And every month, all the members in my mastermind group receive a package with an audio CD and an Agency Growth Ideas Report. And here's the offer I made earlier. If you will try out my 8 Secrets Mastermind Group for 1 month, just $49 a month, stay as long as you want or as short as you want. There's no contract. But if you'll try it out for 1 month, you'll receive an Agency Growth Accelerator Package for free. So I hope you'll take me up on this offer. These tools are such a powerful way to transition from quoter to advisor, and I know that it'll have a huge impact on your agency.
Yes, Bill, thank you. That was a fantastic presentation. Hey, now y'all know why we wanted you to hear from Bill. Hey, if you like these ideas, I encourage you to take Bill up on his offer and sign up for the 8 Secrets Mastermind Package and get the free training package. We have the book here, and I've read it, and our enrollment specialists here are reading it now, and it's a great book. I know you'll be glad that you have it. And if you're wondering, gee, how do I get my customers in for a Your World conversation, just contact Engagex. That's what we do. We specialize in setting up selling opportunities and appointments, both with existing customers and out-of-book customers, and we can get that set up for you. So, Bill, thank you again. That was great. And thanks, everybody, for participating in the webinar. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.